2023 for the ERC, held in room 4, lower level, 7 o'clock. First item is to reopen the public hearing, continue for Betty Mackey, Assessor's Maps 83-6, 84-1 at 7.
Do you need an official motion?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Okay, I move that we reopen that hearing.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. All right. Mr. Nunes,
Our engineer and attorney is running late.
by how far, or
It's only about 10 minutes.
about 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Can we simply postpone it for 10 minutes?
or, yeah, that's right.
Well,
You want to go about the other business first?
Other business can't be part of that.
no,
No.
you would have to reclose the hearing, I think, so. We can take some questions. Ms. Beadle, do you have anything first? Did you want to bring them up, please?
As you can see, they're time stamped on the bottoms. This is what we've been tolerating for too many years. I want this property graded, I want it hydro-seeded, and I want the entire exterior of my home and garage power washed. Not by me, but by those that are responsible for this for so many years.
So there was a cease and desist on the property?
There was
You
a
do know
cease and
that, right?
desist,
You do know that, right?
September 13th.
Yeah.
It's not hydro-seeded.
Right.
Every time the wind blows, this is what happens.
Can't be done.
Every
Right.
time. We're tired.
Because it's a cease and desist, they couldn't do any work there.
They're not doing work.
I know they're not.
Nothing's
That's what I'm talking
hydro-seeded.
about. Because they can't do any work there, there's a cease and desist in order right now.
That's fine.
Yeah,
As soon as that's lifted,
yeah.
they need to grade it, loom it.
Yes, we can
get
take
out.
care of that, we are gonna take care of that. They've already acknowledged that, and they already have done some stuff before the cease and desist. So they did the right side of the property, the northern side, Mr. Nunes?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's hydro-seeded?
yeah, they hydroseeded, yes.
Okay, so how
Relative-
much of the property does that involve? That's hydro-seeded,
He did the northern side of it,
which doesn't
Which
tell
is-
me anything.
which is about
How
how
big
many
of an
feet,
area?
square feet?
About a quarter of the property.
About a quarter of that.
Okay, so
the
we're
reservoir.
still having 3/4 of the property. Whenever the wind blows in our direction, we have this to deal with.
We know that, and that's because there was a cease and desist, they couldn't
Yeah,
continue.
and the cease
So-
and desist was issued September 13th.
Right,
I was still documenting trucks September 21st.
yeah, so,
We addressed that, remember we said that it takes time for the cease and desist to get, we had addressed that in another meeting about the
well,
the
Mr. Noon
timeline.
said that no trucks had, once they received it,
Once they received
they
it.
received it, they didn't
Once
have
they
any
received
trucks.
it, so when did they receive it?
You have that date?
I don't.
It was that date, the date that it was ordered, was the date that they received it.
The 13th.
The 13th or the
I was still
14th.
documenting trucks September 21st. So they evidently didn't adhere to it. They just continued working.
So whether it got in the email or the certified mail, it took 2 days to get there, I'm not sure on that.
Okay,
But that's a records request, we can go up there and see when it was actually
Received.
That's easy enough to do upstairs.
okay. I still want, we're tired of this. We're tired of it. We're fed up with it.
Very, very
I've been
understandable.
spending money on pictures. My husband's been spending money at the car wash at least once a week. We still cannot open the windows. We want whenever this is gonna pick up again, we want it graded and hydro-seeded.
And it will be, And it will be. Mr. Nunes, are you, as far as washing the house, power washing, that's between you two to discuss? Are you up for that discussion?
What, hon?
We had
Come on,
offered,
these right
and
here.
I haven't heard anything yet.
Who did you offer?
Our safety officer went over there, offered to wash the cars and the house.
No, he asked me where I was getting it washed, and that was it. He did not say he was gonna pay for it.
That's why he asked, because they wanted to take care of it.
Yeah, well, they haven't come forward, they haven't done anything along that line.
So you still open for that discussion to move it forward with that? Or
They wanna
no?
discuss it, that's fine, they can come and talk to me.
Yeah,
But I'm not gonna have anybody put words in my mouth.
I don't think anybody did.
He's trying to tell me that they said they paid. He said nothing like that.
Okay, so will you take care of it yourself,
Yes, we will,
Danny? Yeah, is
yes.
that okay with you?
That's fine.
Okay, thank you. Any word on your engineer?
I know that he's running late. He had another meeting. He's en route now. He's already left that meeting.
Okay,
On the way.
yep, and do you have any new information that, from you?
Me?
No, I was talking to Leroy, I'm sorry.
Hi, good evening, John Zage.
Yes.
I understand that one of the concerns that the neighbors had was concerning the sand blowing off the site.
Yes.
And one of the things that we would certainly do as part of getting back on the site and doing some work,
Yeah,
we wouldn't delay the stabilization, the loaming, the seeding.
yes,
Until the project was done. We would do it phase by phase, so once we were back on the site, we would start doing that immediately, so that it would
Right.
alleviate some of that. So all the areas that have already been prepared and ready to do that,
yeah.
we would move forward with doing that and reducing the amount of potential sand that blows off the site.
Right.
And of course, we'd continue with watering.
And whatever is left over, open, you have to have some kind of water control
Yes,
for that.
yeah,
dust
exactly.
control.
Maybe reduce some pile heights would help too. I mean,
Sure.
If that's possible, we've done that in a couple other projects.
And what is your plan for, what have you been using for dust control?
We could use calcium chloride in the driveway
Yeah.
and then water.
Do you have a pump on site to
Yes.
set up some type of a temporary irrigation to water the material and stuff, if you have to?
We have an area that the loader can scoop out. The
Okay.
excavator can scoop out water, fill the bucket of the loader and water the road in the areas that we're working.
Okay. And how often a day does it do that? Obviously, the temperature requires,
Depends on the, the weather and
Yeah.
the heat and, but
Yeah.
yeah, he tries to keep the place damp.
yeah. We'd rather see some type of an irrigation pump, if you could, to set up a temporary or a water truck,
I'll look into that.
yeah, if you could, so.
It would be nice at the end of the day, even though the trucks aren't running out of there,
Douse it down.
douse it down. At least cover some of it,
Yeah,
give these people a little bit of break from some of it. I mean, I know you can't stop every little bit.
that and the more we get loomed and seeded, the
Yeah.
better.
That's gonna be the
That's
first
the
order of
key.
conditions,
That's the
is to
key.
get the rest of those banks loomed and seeded, so,
Mhm.
okay. Yes, sir.
Excuse me, my name's Ed Delory. I believe you said as the project winds down, you'll see it as you go along. Isn't the project over, done?
No.
No.
No, it's not
It's
done?
not
No.
I thought that's why we were here. I thought it was done.
No.
I thought after 11 years, it was done.
No, if it
No.
was done, we wouldn't be here.
Don't need a wise answer, sir. I'm just trying to get clarification.
There's still remaining yardage to be taken out, sir.
How is that possible when Lopes was not the only trucks hauling sand out of there? How is it possible that there's still sand left to be hauled out when there's at least 5 other trucking companies that were hauling
Man,
sand
the
out of
other
there?
trucks are hired trucks by Lopes, they just don't use their own trucks?
No, no,
That's
that
fine.
doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
But they were saying that the yardage that they pull out doesn't count.
That counts as the hired trucks that work for us. Their yardage is under our count.
Yeah, which,
Right.
why weren't they listed on the truck documents?
They are.
Why is it only Lopes? No, they
No,
weren't.
they're not.
Lopes. Every line, Lopes.
Right, because it's incorporated into Lopes's yardage taken out, that's what he's saying. I understand what
Whether
you're
it's
saying.
a,
Oh, I understand what
Yeah,
you're saying.
oh, you
too.
do, okay.
But it's not what you have on your yardage list to the town.
On our yardage list?
Yes, is not accurate to what actually come out of that hole.
And how do you know that? I'm just
The amount of
curious.
trucks, I've read what you've had,
Yeah.
and the yardage does not match what I've had.
And what do you have? What do you
You
have?
didn't take what we had written down. You didn't believe it. It was documented every day, how many trucks were in and out.
Yeah.
You wouldn't accept it.
That's right. You told them they had to have a date on it.
Okay.
Yes, exactly,
You
yes.
actually insinuated that I was lying.
Who did?
You did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I said proof is what you need. You
Yeah.
need, like,
Yeah.
all I said is that you need to set up like either a camera or pictures that are dated like you did with this. That's what I said. I did not say you were lying, Ms. Beedling.
No,
So do not
you
speak out of turn
insinuated.
and make accusations that are not true.
You
Please.
insinuated.
First thing you said was, you told her to document trucks in and out.
Yes,
That's exactly what she did, and you wouldn't accept it because it wasn't photographed.
because the yardage, and dated, correct?
She had the date.
Right, that's
and the
what we
time.
discussed.
No, she just dragged it down, it wasn't like a picture.
And you
Right.
wouldn't accept her document.
Because it was not dated, sir. I mean, you could have had 20 trucks one day and 50 trucks another day.
She had times and dates.
Whatever day.
Right, with stamped photograph, that's what we said, you'd have to have a video, or you have to have some kind of, we just can't believe what you say, and, you know, they turn in their slips like they're supposed to. Ma'am, if you're gonna talk while I'm trying to talk to the crowd, then I'll have you removed. I just want respect in the meeting, please. I'm trying to listen to Mr. Beedling, and I'm talking to Mr. Beedling right now. Thank you.
I'm trying to get this settled.
Yes,
They've already taken out, there's a document from either EPA or DEA that says they've removed more for that reservoir than is needed for the bogs in the area.
so you're talking about what the DEP has for a minimum. It's the minimum requirement, the formula that they have. That's one of the things that was at the last meeting. The formula they have for new bog and old bog, that's their minimum. There's no maximum that a person can expand his water hole because they don't factor in drought years, dry seasons, what per se, frost nights, whether it's 10 frost nights, whether it's 100.
Do they need it 10 times?
That's not up to me. The plan was designed, sir, and it came in, the DEP had no problem with it.
That's
That's-
fine. But my problem is right now, is this project went on without permits after they ran out the first 5 years,
Yeah, and that's why we did the cease and desist.
and now they wanna move more soil out of there?
No, it's the same amount that's always been on this plan.
It should end now.
Yeah, well, it's gonna get finished first, sir. So, it's gonna get finished
As far as
first.
the neighborhood's concerned,
It
it's
is
finished,
yeah.
it's overtime.
Yeah, so. But I agree, it's gonna get done. It's gonna get done.
How much longer?
We have to, well, if this permit gets voted, yes, then it'll be 1-year permit, so.
No.
Or unless the market improves was the quote from the last
Yes,
meeting.
it was.
As long as we can sell it is what they said.
Sir, all we can do is enforce the bylaws that are in front of us, and what every taxpayer, Miss Mackey, has every right to do what she does. She's a taxpayer in this town.
We're taxpayers.
Yes, right,
We
right,
can't open our windows.
right. But there's a time limit on this permit, and then if it goes through, then it'll go through, yes.
I'm gonna ask the board, because there's a lot of confusion of how much earth has already been removed from the site.
Right.
We've heard estimates up to 581,000 yards. So I am asking the board to hire an independent engineer to evaluate it and use your 53 powers to pay for it and get it done. And that way, you've got an outside individual who comes in, evaluates it before anything goes
So
through.
that's up to the taxpayer and her she lopes
No,
in
the
order to
board
pay for
has
that.
that power. to
We're not
do it.
gonna spend the taxpayers' money on
Well,
that.
You've got, the room is taxpayers, and they're asking you for
Yeah,
this.
not the whole town though, sir. We can't make that call on that. Yes,
So how you said they report to you guys the amount of
Yes, and we have
soil
that right
they
here.
take. But so you expect them to be truthful and honest about what they take? but
well,
you
there's an
can't take-
as-built that gets done
Yeah,
on this plan when it's done
yeah,
by
but
the
you,
engineer.
you can't, I understand now you say, you know,
Right.
the timestamp and document, but she's a taxpayer, so her word should be just as good as theirs
And
as
it
far
is.
as handwritten
And
things.
it is. But at the end of this project, there will be an as-built done by a professional engineer that'll tell us that the size of this water hole, and it would match up with the yardage.
Yeah.
That's
So-
the whole point.
My other thing is, yes, it's gonna cost us, the taxpayers' money to have a private engineer in the beginning come in. How much is it gonna cost if our aquifer system is destroyed and the town has to put in
And what makes you think it'll be destroyed?
because
I'm
of
just curious.
all the wells, the contamination that's been slowly leaking from the dump, that are leaking into people's wells all surrounding
What does that
them?
have to do with this water hole?
Because as soon as you start pulling out excess dirt, there's gonna be less filtration system to clean that water, and contaminants are gonna get into it, and as water flows to other areas, that contaminant is going
So
to
you
contaminate the whole
do know
town.
that the DEP approves this and that this is used for an agricultural crop.
Yes,
Do
but
you think that they
things
want that
haven't-
on an agricultural crop?
things haven't been being documented properly. That's why the town is getting, people looking into the PFAS that's leaching into the waters everywhere. I would, like they said, this has been going on for 10 years. Obviously, there were no wells dug before to check on the, potential contamination that the bogs have
Water
been putting into
water
there.
holes do not create contamination.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you look at all these other towns around us, I think it's Rockland, what is it, East Bridgewater, they're all starting to have water issues. This is coming, and if we don't, do the things different, the DEP is starting to come out with new, regulations as far as the PFAS goes and these different contaminants that are in the water. As of March, they're starting new ones.
So the PFAS that the DEP gentleman told me is more or less, believe it or not, is man-made chemical.
Yeah,
That's
oh yeah.
probably coming out of like plastic pipes,
Yep.
whatnot, like septic systems,
You
Okay.
remove
commercial
the-
septic systems.
But when you remove that
So-
filter, that sand, that dirt, and that's what we're saying is, there's potentially more, but the town doesn't wanna pay to have an independent person come in. How much is it gonna cost the town?
So isn't
if-
that up to the DEP to make those regulations drift down to every town?
That's what it's doing that now. They're starting that now because they're realizing, because like I said, the different towns surrounding us are starting, people can't use water.
Right.
And that's what
So
it's,
I can't disagree with you. Alls I can do is wait for the DEP to come notify
Yeah.
the town, and then it trickles down to everybody
The-
that's
The
there.
key word to your statement there was starting.
yeah.
They're starting to understand what PFAS is, where it is, at what levels it is.
But
I
we-
have great concern over PFAS. My kids drink the same water from the same aquifer. We don't know enough about PFAS yet to even regulate it.
Yeah. Well,
PFAS is a nationwide issue,
Yeah,
and we can't allow it to be around our neck here at the Carver Earth Removal Committee.
but you guys are
At
the
this
ones that
stage in
can
the game.
stop passing out permits for people when they've already been working for 10 or 11 years, taking out dirt that, like you just said, the town doesn't wanna pay to have an independent engineer come in to make sure that they're removing the amount of dirt that they said they were
So
doing.
then we have every concerned citizen asking for a certified engineer to monitor these projects as they go forward, and all the
When
ones that
it's-
are
when
open
it's
now.
such a degree of
Different than
amount
any
of
other.
time,
This project, these folks have been doing this for almost 12 years. Half of that has been illegal. And you're looking at it like nothing has
And
happened.
why is it illegal? What's illegal?
Because they didn't have permits and they kept going and
So they did have
told us
permits,
to
though.
go stuff it.
They did have permits, and then they came forward, that's why we put the cease and desist. That's all it was. It wasn't like a crime.
And the-
You're making it sound like it's a crime.
It is a crime.
It is.
And this
It's not.
neighborhood started
It's
having
not a
well
crime.
problems in low water this summer because they were pumping so much and digging so deep, they were removing the water table from the area. Now that they've stopped, the
So
water
the
table's come
DEP,
back up.
came down and investigated that, because there was a complaint about it, and they came down, and they didn't find anything wrong. And that's what we go by, is the state legislation of that DEP. That's all we can do. I mean, we go by them. So they sent us a letter that said that there was no, Mr. Nunes, you gave us that letter when they did that visit. You have that, Jeff, right? Yeah. I know you had a question.
Oh, thank you. My name is Catherine Harrelson, and I'm with Community Land and Water Coalition. We're a volunteer-led organization out of Plymouth, Massachusetts. I do actually have a handout for the board.
Thank you.
The first thing,
And this is in regards of?
this is in regards to the request for a permit extension by Mackie Lopez. We would like to request that the Earth Removal Committee deny the November 1st, 2022 earth removal permit application submitted by request for extension for expansion for the ongoing sand gravel mining operation at Assessors Maps 82-4, 83-6, and 84-1. I'd like to address a couple points that have come up tonight during this hearing. Overwhelming and irrefutable evidence submitted to the ERC over the last 10 years, involving, particularly since January 2022, shows that the site is in violation of the bylaw. The Earth Removal Committee must deny the Lopez permit and immediately order site stabilization and restoration, as we've been discussing, which I'll go into further detail about. Some of the comments raised tonight in support of the residents' comments that the site must immediately stop all excavation on the site is that there is credible evidence to suggest that they have removed volume in excess of their permit originally.
And how was that credible evidence?
We're suggesting, we're making a suggestion that it is possible that they have already exceeded well over 300,000, which I believe was the number that they brought up at the last meeting, and possibly up to 580,000 cubic yards of sand. We have a volunteer who has developed a method for estimating earth removal. It is a citizen science method. It is not an engineering method, but it's using available radar technology and Google Maps, Google Earth, Mass Mapper, readily available tools online to estimate volume of earth removed. And this was done using, back in the year 2000, NASA ordered a study of the total elevation of the earth. So we have elevation points from NASA from the year 2000. And these are compared to, and so we have elevation points from this site from the year 2000. And so what our member did was he took the elevation points from this site from the year 2000, averaged out 10 points, compared them to a flat nearby surface that also was measured in the year 2000, and calculated the distance, the difference in volume between those two sets of numbers. This is we can go into further detail, but it's in the handout, so I won't go into too much further detail. But as you can
choose the year
understand,
2000?
that's when the radar survey was done of the Earth. That's when the data is from.
Okay.
It hasn't been updated since then, but I believe that there are more missions planned. So this is a method of estimating earth removal. It's not 100% accurate, it's not perfect, but we're at a very large discrepancy between what the applicant is reporting that they removed versus what we're observing that has been removed. And so what we'd like to do is ask that they not be permitted to remove any more earth from the site until there's a site survey or until...
What's the average tree height used on those estimates? I use similar estimates trying to figure out hills as a cranberry grower and not have to hire an engineer.
Yeah.
I find them to be terribly inaccurate.
I'm sorry.
I wish they were accurate because it's a nice, quick, easy way of measuring hills, but unfortunately, I haven't found them to be accurate at all.
Okay, well, you can take a look at what we did. We have the numbers in the packet. And if you want to contact us for further questions or you would like to dispute what we found, please feel free to do so.
Thank you.
But we would like to, but this is the basis of our request to deny.
So your member,
any-
is he a professional engineer in any way, shape, or form?
No, he's not. He's an environmental scientist.
He's an environmental scientist?
Yes,
So
that's correct.
he does not have a degree in engineering?
No, he does
Okay.
not. So, but you can see what we're doing is we are estimating what we believe that method, the volume of earth to remove to be,
Right.
and asking that this committee not approve any further extensions of this permit until this matter is thoroughly investigated by a professional engineer.
So the site already has a professional engineer, not only hired by Ms. Mackey or Mr. Lopes, hired by numerous companies in the southeast Mass. And they're professional engineers. It's not just one engineer working for one person. That's what we have to go by.
And they've come up with 300,000
And
cubic
they've
yards?
come up with yardage to date by the paperwork, is that the project was approved for 545,000, yardage remaining 153,561. So, and at the end of the site, we also require an as-built on the project. So an as-built, in case people doesn't know what it is that the engineer comes in, they survey everything, and they give us the lockdown of the amount of yardage that was taken in the area that it was put in. Stamped by a professional engineer. and recorded.
Plan as built.
Yeah, they make sure this plan is done according to the
According
plan.
to the
plan.
state laws too.
Yeah, the state laws.
Yeah. Mr. Miller?
Well,
Joe?
How is that possible, your number of 150, when the last meeting,
He said approximately 99. We had to run our own numbers from up, Shelby ran our
I'm at
own.
99,160
You have what?
remaining, 99,160.
160 remaining?
It's 545,000.
Yep,
I have 445,840 taken out,
yep.
leaving 99,160.
99.
Would you mind repeating those one more time?
545,000 total, 445,840 removed, leaving 99,160.
Do you know when Shelby did that?
No, and these are just roundabouts, and it goes by where people sign off, it's not just what they guesstimate on. So we'll find out if this is up to date, or if this is from like last
Okay, all right,
month.
yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a
But
lag.
people don't make up what they want, there are signed copies upstairs that where they have to sign their name to where it's a real, you
Right,
know, it's like an
okay.
affidavit.
Right,
So you're saying you have a little less than 100,000 yards and then you're done?
yeah.
well, the second command that we'd like to make, in addition to immediate site stabilization when the work continues, is that a site restoration plan be submitted by Lopez and Mackey to the Earth Removal Committee. This is a requirement of the bylaw. It has to comply with NRCS. There's 2 standards in NRCS that's in the bylaw. And as far as we're concerned, no site restoration plan has been submitted. And we'd like a site restoration plan submitted with a date of
It's,
completion that is acceptable to the residents of Carver.
Is this your site restoration that
Yeah.
Mr. Madden supplied with us? We have that right here from their engineer.
When was that submitted?
The date on this,
Original.
There's a 2023 date on it.
yeah, 2023 Bill Madden, because I think on original
January.
on this one,
We did this right before our meeting,
yeah.
right before the January 25th meeting.
Mr. Madden took over for, what was the previous engineer?
Ben Gilmore.
Ben Gilmore Engineering. So that's why Mr. Madden submitted this himself for his date with his plan.
Oh, he wants to speak.
I'm sorry?
No,
Oh, he's right here, I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
yeah, he's.
He snuck in.
Just for clarification on what I submitted,
Yeah.
what I submitted was a reduced copy of a plan that indicated the location of the 2 monitoring wells
Okay.
that were on the site. That's what that piece of paper.
That's what this one is?
Is there to represent. I wasn't able to, and the reason why I did it that way, I'm not able to change the plan that was prepared by another licensed professional.
So these are all the original topos that were
That
taken
comes
off the
from that
original
plan.
plan?
I think there's notation on the top of the plan that indicates the data source of that plan, what it was,
Yeah,
and
Oh,
what
yeah,
the
yeah.
purpose of that plan was as well.
yeah.
And then the third demand that we'd like to make for the Earth Removal Committee is the testing of the wells on site. So far to date, they have not been tested, it's just water levels. We'd like them tested for EPA primary and primary drinking water parameters and PFAS as well. And I can go into this a little bit about what we've discussed so far at this meeting. We have relied on the forest cover and the sand cover of the aquifer to provide drinking water for the residents of this area for hundreds and thousands of years. We are now in a point of development where we are removing that forest cover and removing that sand cover. And yes, we are starting to understand emerging contaminants. So PFAS has been an emerging contaminant for, I want to say probably at least 8 years now. We are continuing to understand PFAS better and better, and there are regulations at the federal level to regulate PFAS in this country that were new this year. There's no comprehensive protection for our aquifer. It is an EPA designated sole source aquifer. However, it's up to the residents to protect their own drinking water. When we remove 500,000 cubic yards of sand from a single area, we're removing a large portion of that aquifer, and we're removing the forest cover that protected it. So we are requesting monitoring wells and testing of the wells on site and testing of the residents' wells in this area if they wish to do so that we can detect these problems before they occur. And that is the key here, is that we do something before we have the problem. And the final request that we'd like to make is that this public hearing is continued.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from the board?
Can you just say that again, so the SW Cole, they're just doing what they were asked?
SW Cole? Yeah. Do you have an address for them, sir?
I think we have an
Or
email. from
contact?
them.
I do, Dylan.
You do, yeah.
You can email it to me later, that's
Sure.
fine.
Get this.
Yes.
Since they have stopped digging over there, the pond has come back up to level. Before they finished digging, the pond was just about bone dry.
Are you talking about the
Do you know how
pond they're
much
digging?
rainwater we had in
Base pond.
January?
No,
Base
just
pond,
before
base
that.
Oh, Bates Pond.
That was before
Was-
rainwater.
99% dry. Once they stopped digging over there, it has refilled to, I wanna say 90% anyways. They are affecting the water flow in our neighborhood. And if they keep digging more out, how much more is it gonna affect the water in our area?
So that's cause for the DEP, and you've contacted them. Am I wrong in saying that?
I believe they've been contacted. This
Oh, I thought you contacted them. Oh, your lawyer did. No?
possibly, did you wrote them too.
Yeah, I wrote it.
And hence, that was the inspection that they had with you, correct, Mr. Nunes?
Yes.
And what was the findings on that? Well, we can say that again. We have it, but yeah.
Nothing was, we had no violations.
So that's all we can go by with the DEP, sir.
This is a whole neighborhood observation. The pond has never been that dry.
Yeah, at that time, everybody's pond was down at that
They,
point.
they were down, I agree. They
You
were
agree,
down.
right? I mean, I'd go
They
through
weren't-
Miles Sanders and those ponds were down.
They weren't down
Yeah.
bone dry.
Yeah.
All the years I've been there 18 years, that pond has never been that dry.
Yeah.
Even with a drought.
Ma'am?
My name is Judith Pratt, and Bates Pond is in my backyard.
Mhm.
And I'm 3 houses down from the site, and I get sand blowing, not to the extreme that they do, but I still get sand. And I have to wear a mask when I work outside for my safety. But the water issue, I came and gave you a picture of the rock.
Mhm.
And it was never bare sand under that rock that showed. We had many droughts, I lived there 40 years, and you told me get a hydrologist. You wouldn't even come out and look at the site. And I showed you.
I don't know I'm not a hydrologist. I don't
I
know
know,
what I'm
but you
looking
said
at,
that
to be
you
honest
usually
with you.
would come and check out something if somebody requested, you know, just to make sure that everything's on the level, you know?
Right.
And it showed the rings on the rock of the water levels and at the lowest and the highest and everything. And I had said that I was concerned about the flow because not only did they take the sand out and the trees, that the roots hold the sand, but they took out boulders and rocks, and that's like charcoal. That also filters the area for the water and everything. And when they started digging, to the extent they did, I was afraid the water would come in our direction in my well. And I was concerned, and a lot of people were worried about their wells drying up. And it wasn't just the drought, because when we started getting rain, the water was being pumped out of the pond. And that was the main reason why the pond got that low. And when you've lived there 40 years, you don't need a hydrologist to come and say, oh, you know, I think your water level's low because of this, you know. I mean, it's a common sense
So,
kind of
Mr.
thing.
Nunes, is it a possibility to wet dig the rest of the remainder of the dirt?
Yes,
It is. You're willing to do that?
yes.
So that means there would be no pumping.
The only pumping that'd be involved, whatever bedding needs for the.
For the cranberry bogs, that's a different, other than this.
Mhm.
It's, everybody understands that, like, she has to pump, flood the bog up, she has to,
It is a bog next to the pond, and that's an annual thing that we understand, but this was
Right.
massive, and this wasn't going to that site. We were led to understand it was going to the Zero Meadow.
right, so
site.
Mr. Noon said him and his company are willing to do wet dig the remainder of the material.
I have
Yes.
a question. So, what happens if you continue this and afterwards you find out that they're taking a lot more than what they were supposed to, what penalties would be forthcoming?
They
to
would
them?
owe the money, of course.
What, the $15 per load, or what money?
What the yardage was. But as long as they keep track of it like we're keeping track of it now, and when it gets down to being close to the end,
And you're hearing here, there's discrepancies in his record keeping. You've had somebody else come in and that's saying they've taken more. So again, I'm gonna ask you to have an independent engineer evaluate this before we go further.
I'm gonna go by the engineer that's being paid to do the job, sir.
He's being paid by the people who are.
But he's
taking
also
up the
paid
sand.
by numerous other people, he's a professional company. So in other
Yes,
words,
and
you're calling
again,
him a crook. Is that what
I'm
you're
not
doing?
calling him a crook.
Well, that's what you're basically saying.
No, I'm not, I'm saying, the drawings that he has given you are not his. He has not looked at what's been done recently. You're looking at drawings that were done years ago at the very beginning. He changed the drawing to add wells, and that's the only thing he has done, and it's.
But Mr. Madden, do you understand the plan that was in front of you when you drew the wells?
Yes.
Like the estimated volumes, the topos, as an engineer, you understand with that plan?
Yes,
Have you been out to the site?
yes,
How many times?
once.
Can I ask when that was?
It was last fall.
Okay, and could you estimate how much was taken out with your,
No,
no, there you go.
He wasn't there to do an as-built.
But you still can't even give an estimate, you just said that.
Because he hasn't done an as-built.
So again, for the
You just
concerned
can't eyeball
citizens of
something,
Carver,
sir.
I am asking you to use your 53 power and have an independent engineer come out and settle this once and for all.
We're gonna have it done when the project is done.
It's
We're gonna
too
have
late
the
then.
as-built. gonna
Again,
have the
I was here
as-built done
last
when it's
meeting,
done.
and Mr. Lopes couldn't give you a definite answer. Maybe a year, maybe 3 years, it depends on how the
Well,
economy.
this permit, if it approved, is for 1 year, and then a 1-year review. And that's it.
And then you extend it again.
Yes, probably.
What do you mean by a one-year review?
At the end of the thing, if it's complete, then it's complete. And we wait for the as-built to come in, we do the site visit, close it out.
Okay, then, at the end of the year,
Mr. Nunes, how long do you think this will take you, other than the 1 year? Will it take you over a year?
And how does wet digging it change that time frame?
You have 99,000 yards, all right? At 25 loads a day, it's 500 yards. Correct? It's 500 yards a day. So you have roughly 240 days in a year of hauling. What does that come out to?
200 days.
You have it in the paperwork, give us the answer.
It's well, remember, we don't know.
Shows us it's plenty of time. It's 122,500 if you did that.
So we're gonna
Right.
stick to the 25 loads a day.
Yeah.
And work on getting it done.
Are you confident you can achieve that, even wet digging it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
all I'm asking for is a definitive end to this project.
I think he's hearing that. and-
1 year.
I'll come back in a year.
I'll let you know if I need more time.
I'm sorry, but we've heard that for the last 11, 1 more year, 2 more years.
I'm going
It can't be done
We
in
are going to
11
do the
years?
25 loads a day and for the 5 days a week that we can haul.
Then my only other question is, why is it taking so long to complete this project?
Can't answer that.
When it should have taken 5 years.
Yeah. So we're gonna move forward for this. I thank everybody for
I
their
just
questions
had
and
one
stuff.
quick question. That SW Coal Company, where are they out of?
They have multiple locations. Their main office is in Maine, but they do have an office in Taunton.
Well, that was what I was trying to look up, that's why I was asking where they were.
Yep, I have the phone number if you want it.
And they actually, though,
She
they
was
put the
asking,
wells
yeah.
in, the wells are actually monitored for the depth from a different company. SW Cole put the wells in,
Mhm.
and they ultimately report to us.
So another company
Yeah,
monitors it?
they actually
not them?
subcontract the measuring the depth of the well to Common Sense Environmental in New Mexico.
Okay.
Do you know how often those are monitored by that other company? I didn't realize it was another company,
Quarterly.
not this one, I
Quarterly.
didn't miss that over.
How many wells are there?
Why did it take you 11 years to put in 2?
They didn't have to.
Progress.
No, can I just go back to, what was that second company you just said that monitored?
Common Sense Environmental in New
Com-
Bedford.
Common Sense Environmental?
Yes. So Cole put in the wells.
Yes.
Subcontracted the measuring the depth of Common Sense.
And they do it quarterly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if I call them, they might know why we haven't tested them at all, haven't checked them now? They might know, they might not know, not sure.
I don't
They
think that's
have tested
present.
them quarterly since they've been in.
When did the wells
How
go
long have
in?
they been in?
They would put in,
I think that was in January.
yeah, well, he went up and found them, put them on this plan. Here and here. Do you have a date for when they were put in, actually?
It looks like June 15th of 2022.
It looks like when?
June of 2022, right?
Yeah, because I just saw the truck
On a
out there on the
10-year
20th.
project, that's absurd.
That might have been a long thing, I don't know.
So, any other questions from the board?
Well, we just wanna see this job done and gone away, so everybody can be happy.
Next time everybody will
I have
say,
one
right.
question,
Yes.
about the wells. Are they, I know you said that they were only doing the depth and all that.
Yes.
But are they also gonna, under these circumstances, test the PFAS in those wells?
They're not required to do
I know,
that?
but are they going to because of the circumstances?
No, they're not required by us or the town to do any testing for that.
You could request it.
Well, I can't request that. We're on the, that's something you would have to go to the select board for.
Alright, so
You gotta be kidding me.
what I'm asking then is, in good faith, we're asking the property owner to go ahead and do it for us, because they've had these people who.
Well, I mean, in the same
suffer for
sense, sir,
living
she
this.
can also ask for
Well,
your
we're
wells to be
asking,
tested,
they're here today. Will
correct?
they do it? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Well, if she wants a copy of my well,
Mr. Hold on,
I'll give it to her.
Mr. Nunes, sir?
You each want to,
I'm not asking you, you are not the property owner. The
Sir,
property owner's sitting next to
He
you.
just said that he was willing to test the wells, but you don't listen.
I know this.
is everybody willing to test their wells?
Yes, we have had them tested.
Already done it.
Everybody's already,
Yes, we have.
And my well is on the corner of the property.
I've got 64 homes that I gotta worry about. The Meadowwood development, which abuts,
Direct the
That-
butters.
Yeah.
which, by the way, we've never been notified of any of these meetings. Meadowwood Association, 64 homes. I'm the president of the association, and never been notified of a meeting.
They're on the website, sir.
Pardon?
They're on the website like every other meeting is.
What, this meeting?
Of these meetings, that's right. We've never been notified of these meetings.
As in a butter for the first,
in a butter.
the first meetings for the zoning,
I've got
You mean
64
back
homes.
in 11, 12 years ago?
12 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't do that. I wasn't on the board
And
at
when,
that
you know,
point.
after the first 5 years, we were never notified again, and I picked it up in the paper, I was at the first meeting, and I've been following it right along. That's the only reason my community as a whole knows anything about it.
Right?
Yeah.
So those cards never got sent out, or
No, they always do.
they always did?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we always have copies of them as well.
right.
That's 67 people.
So that,
What's that?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, I do have for this, when this first meeting was
Yes.
Yeah.
scheduled, I have the certified card.
Yeah.
Meadowwoods Estates Homeowners Association?
Meadowwoods,
Yes.
Meadowwoods Homeowners Association.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so he has the,
Certified copy that
Yes,
got
the
sent to you.
When was that?
It was signed for, looks like November 29th of 2022 by Janet, could be Martell or Maxwell.
Never have. I don't get any of them.
Things don't happen.
You know, you asked about the well testing. Yes, we've had ours done, and it was just under $500. I have the results.
It
We
is
now have-
positive.
every well. So what I'm asking, to you, Mr. Nunes, is G. Lopes willing to test the well?
we're not required.
You're not required to?
test it,
Okay.
so-
But in good faith, I'm asking, because he knows he's not required, I'm asking if you would for the citizens who live in that community.
When Mrs. Mackey is the property owner.
There's a property owner sitting next to you, she won't do it after all the money she's made off this date.
Sir, money has nothing to do with what she does
That's
and
what this whole
whatnot.
thing is about.
I know, but that has nothing to do with it.
Everything's about the money.
Yeah. So, we're gonna move forward here.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna move forward here. Any other questions from the board? Any?
Questions, concerns?
Okay.
You have one question
We
back
have-
here.
Sir?
Yeah, Bill Duggan, 285 Meadow.
Yep.
I'm just wondering if there's any, anybody know which way the groundwater is flowing in that area? Because the well and where the locations of the wells are, because it seemed to be one, if it was one upstream and one downstream, then you could tell what the effect of it is. I just don't know where the location of the wells are.
The locations are on this plan right here, sir. That I believe is up at the town hall.
I'll just make a point about that. In general, you need 3 monitoring wells to triangulate the groundwater level. 2 monitoring wells doesn't cut it to determine the groundwater flow direction. So they cannot actually determine the groundwater flow direction from 2 monitoring wells.
But these wells weren't put in for flow direction, they were put in.
I know, I'm just saying.
Oh,
that
okay,
it's
yeah.
just-
Bill?
Just with respect to groundwater flow direction, there's, the USGS water resource maps of southeastern Massachusetts show the groundwater flows in Carver, Middleborough, Wareham, and what have you, so that source data is readily available.
Yep, okay. Does that answer your question, sure, sir?
Which way is it going?
No, where you can,
How you can look it up.
how you can look it up for the direction of the water
I
flow.
just thought maybe, we'd know here, because that would be a good determination as to where you put the wells, I mean, if I wanna test my well, I should look upstream and then downstream, so I was just curious.
Well, these wells were put in not for flow direction, they were put in for depth monitoring. The height of the water table. That's what these wells were put in. They weren't put in for flow. What direction they flow.
No, but I mean, you're testing it for whatever,
Well, these monitoring wells were mainly just put in to monitor the depth of the water. They were never put in for testing. Yeah,
Just a question for the property owner.
yeah.
Would they be willing to have the wells tested?
Are you addressing Miss Mackey?
Yes, please.
I don't know at this time.
What was that, sir?
Nothing.
So, we don't have a yes, you cannot say yes or no to us? All we're asking is a yes or no question.
I don't think it's up to you.
You're asking me.
You're the owner. I need my answer.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Miss Mackey. Okay, do we have a motion on the floor here?
I'll make the motion so that we can get any further discussion too.
I'm sorry?
I'll make the motion, and hopefully if we have some more discussion, okay, we can finish. Somebody want a second?
What's your
Move
motion?
forward?
What is the motion, Dick?
Well, my motion would be, I'm caught here because I want to see this project completed. I don't want to see it just left and try to smooth it over. So my motion would be to permit the owner to continue to finish that 99,000 yards and take that out and then do all the
Reclamation. yeah.
reclamation, planting, putting down seed and so on.
Excuse me, before we have a vote.
With
can I
an
ask a
asserted,
Hold on,
question? Is
with-
this a point
hold on,
of-
we're in the middle, we're in the middle,
Yes,
sir.
but this concerns you, sir. This definitely
Sir,
concerns
we
you.
are in the middle of this right now, of
Yes,
this
but this
vote. So
concerns
this,
your
I,
vote.
you can talk afterwards.
I'm asking, have you had dealings with Ms. Mackey on a land purchase recently? And if you
No, I have
I'm-
not.
I'm gonna ask you to excuse yourself.
No, I have not.
Okay?
That was my motion, to proceed with the continuing the project, take the 99,000 out and get the project landscaped or scaped.
I would like to just add a concerted effort for dust control, not just the road, but the piles, the height of the piles, a concerted effort, and to work with the neighbors to get this project done.
And please work with them to get their house situation and whatever you have to do there.
We will.
With,
Is that okay with you, Mr. and Mrs. Beedling?
Soon as this project's over with.
No, I meant for them to contact you if you want your house pressure
Yeah.
washed or whatnot.
And the remainder of it, under the water table to be dug wet, not pumped. I think that's fair and all.
Is there gonna be a time limit on this?
It's a one-year permit.
I will second Mr. Ward's motion.
All those in favor?
Well, wait a minute, can we have some
You want further
Further
discussion?
discussion?
Just to point out why I'm doing that, I want to see the project completed, but
Yep.
I'm listening to all the information going back and forth, and I'm trying to picture that we're taking materials out, but we're affecting the quality of the water. And to my experience around the town, that has not happened, and the volume of material or pits or everything else. So I'm concerned with, I just wanna finish this project and get it done and try to make things better for the neighbors. That's it.
Any other further discussion? Michael?
Nope.
John? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. Mr. Nunes, your order of conditions will be made up, and they will be inspected thoroughly. First thing on the order of conditions is gonna be getting all that sloping done against the bog and 3/4 of the way around, okay, and seeded. Before we do any digging, that's gonna be the main thing on the order of conditions, okay? And so we're also gonna have on there that you approve to wet dig it instead of pumping it,
Yep.
okay? All right, thank you.
One last question.
Yes, sir.
When are you gonna start up again?
Yeah, as soon as the order and conditions are made up, within the next couple days, Carol?
Yes.
Is usually what it takes. So do you have any idea when your start will be?
I can start right now.
We usually,
Is it next week
Ready
or?
to start now.
Yeah,
I think we usually do the permit date on the day of the public meeting, as we decided,
right,
don't we?
Yeah.
So we'll start today.
yeah, right. But the order of conditions has to be signed first.
Yes.
Yeah. He signs our order of conditions and then he can start after that. So I'm assuming next week, sir.
You'll email that to Mr. Zajac?
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
One of the,
You have to send the information concerning the-
That's fine too.
check on what's going on.
I'm gonna go over with Mr. Nunes on what we're gonna address on the order of conditions. I'm gonna go over it with him, line item by line item, to make sure it's met.
But is anybody gonna do an inspection on the site as it progresses?
Oh, yes,
Yes,
absolutely, yeah.
We're setting up a schedule tonight
Yeah.
for site visits of the whole committee.
Would you like to be notified of those site visits, or
Yes,
have a discussion with us afterwards?
let me know, I'll sit down there and wait for you to finish.
Okay, all right. Can
Or
you,
if you let me walk through, that would be.
well, that's not up to me, that would be up to the construction of the landowner. Yeah, so, all right. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
guys.
Mr. Madden, thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Close the public hearing.
Oh, yeah, close it.
Close the public hearing.
Yeah.
Someone motion to.
I'll make a motion to
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Who seconded it?
John, did you second it?
I called it. Dick seconded it.
Dick seconded it?
Yeah.
The same, I like.
I second.
Seconded.
Yeah.
Carol, did you say you didn't have the minutes?
I don't, I have them, but I don't have a printed for you. So that's why we can't do that, so we'll have to do it on the next one.
So we're not doing this one?
No, we'll do it on the next month, we'll review
Okay.
them.
Do we have to, I think we,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for 1/25/23 at our next meeting.
Okay.
Do the
Second that motion.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the review of any site visits done in February or this month.
Did we do?
We did the site visits for AD Makepeace, Hammond Street and also Federal Road, map 131, lot 1-2C.
All right, hold on a minute, Hammond Street and Federal Road?
Yes.
It's 1 and 2 on that, Carol.
No, 2 and 3.
2 and 3, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
All right,
2 and
so
3 on this.
Sorry about that.
Michael, were you with us on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, so.
when did you guys do those?
Um,
Doesn't really matter,
he
but
hasn't that date,
I might
but
have it.
the only one that wasn't with us was John, right?
No, I
did you
was
do it
not
right
there.
after
Yeah.
the meeting?
I'm sorry?
I was trying to think. Oh, you know what?
What day was that? It was-
So any
Oh,
discussion?
January 28th, that Saturday, did you do it?
Yeah.
That's when you were planning on doing it?
Yeah, no, we did it, we canceled that one, that date, made it for, that's it rained.
Okay. I guess it doesn't really matter.
So, any discussion on the site visits?
Yeah, I didn't, as we discussed things, they seem to be going along as planned,
Yeah.
and, they seem to be,
Everything was in accordance with the phases that they were on Federal Road.
Yep.
And then also on Hammond Street, they were, looked like they were pretty,
There was
moving right along on that one too.
There was a little sloping and blooming, and
Yeah, there was sloping and looming going on Hammond Street.
a lot of that sand was being used right on site.
Yeah, for the rebuild, yeah, so, anyways,
Did you say anything about Federal?
It's going as according to plan.
yeah, Federal
Okay.
Road, yeah, they're into,
Sorry.
their phase 2. Yeah, so, they're moving right along, there's, Hammond Street, like I said, Jesus.
They're fighting out there.
Who
so-
is?
It's actually the engineer.
It's nothing to do with it.
Yeah, well, it's the town hall, it's just, take it outside.
You know, it's the same thing.
Well, this is-
I'm
Not how you get
gonna
things.
have to, I'm gonna make a motion to have a recess here for a second, for 2 minutes.
Okay.
okay?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm just gonna have to shut the door.
Thank you.
okay?
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
The ayes have it, okay. Next item on the agenda is discussion of next site visits. So I was looking at, we should go to Federal Road for Makepeace, map 131, lot 2-4, pit 17.
Number 1 on the list.
Number 1 on the list.
Yep.
That's his list right here.
Yeah, it's top.
Where is that?
That is right in the corner of Cranberry Road and.
Oh, okay, where the scale is.
Yeah.
I've just never gotten around to that one.
Yep. The second one should be Eric and Elaine Weston,
They just-
rear of Plymouth Street, map 48, lot 8, part of 2-0.
They-
Number 6 on the list.
They just started over there.
Yeah, it's a good time to go. Any particular date that everybody can make it?
Not this Saturday.
Yeah, this Saturday I can't
The
do.
following Saturday, the
That's
8th.
That's the Easter weekend.
Don't want that.
Sunday.
Maybe the 15th.
Saturday the 15th?
Is that?
It's
Saturday,
middle
April
of April.
15th.
Yeah.
For April.
It's on a Saturday, so was there, Michael?
That's good.
Dick?
Okay,
John?
Good.
so that's both number 1 and.
Number 6.
Number 6.
Yep. 8 o'clock?
Do we need to look at when was the last time we looked at Johnson's? Do you wanna look at his again, or do you wanna wait?
Are we talking,
The one that
Ryko's doing? Yeah, and this is where there's so many Johnsons on here, I
I know.
get
Yeah, I know.
confused
Sorry about
on which one it is.
I don't know which one is,
I believe it's,
Number
Number
9.
8?
oh, wait a minute, hold on, I believe it is, yeah, is it number 8? I believe it's number 8, yeah,
'Cause I
it's
think
got the
it's
3,
number
9,
9
and 10
too, I
there.
think.
Yeah, it's number 8.
You're gonna do that as well?
Yeah.
It's right on, right.
Yeah,
close
and
to-
that there is coming to being complete.
Now, what about the, that we're just having a hearing on tonight? We want to put them into our schedule right away on site visits?
Well, oh yeah, absolutely, but until the order of conditions are made up, which I'll go
Yeah,
with
that'd
Carol,
be kinda hard, okay.
and then they sign the order of conditions.
Yep.
That way there. We never used to have them, as far as I know, they never signed order of conditions before, but now that,
And now it clearly states what you guys went over, like
Yeah.
if they've read the bylaws, they fully are aware,
Oh,
they
yeah, yeah, I
understand
remember
all
that.
the
I
key.
remember
Right.
that sheet, yep.
Mr. Chair, as an employee of the 80 Makepeace Company, I'd like to recuse myself from the site visit of pit number 17 on Federal Road. And I'll meet up with you guys for the other two
Okay.
inspections of Eric and Elaine Weston and Johnson Cranberries.
okay? So noted.
Do you guys want me to leave this door open?
You can, yeah.
You can,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank you.
Good luck out there. At least you got a weapon.
Okay. Next item on the agenda. I'm sorry, any further discussion on the site visits?
So 8 o'clock you'll start at
Yeah.
Makepeace. I'll touch base with you guys that morning. I'll meet with you at Eric and Elaine's probably next.
Yes.
Okay.
We're talking 8 AM, right, Bob?
Yes.
Yep.
We meet at the corner of Cranberry Road in, is that, what is that?
Federal.
Federal?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, we can meet again at Ocean Spray's parking lot. Is that easier for everybody? That's pretty easy to do that, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Well, there's
okay.
plenty of room there.
Yep. Next item on the agenda, discussion and possible vote on appointing new truck hauler to the earth removal committee. So, we have somebody that is in the trucking industry, and he's been on committees in town, I believe he's chaired committees, very knowledgeable. Alan Germain. AGT Holland.
Careful, you don't get you guys in trouble. Much trouble in here.
What did you say the Holland was? What's it called?
AGT Trucking?
Oh, I don't know, okay.
Yeah. And so we are, on the hauler, we are allowed to appoint that position. The earth removal committee board is by the bylaws. We are allowed to appoint that position on here, so. Does anybody have
Or
any?
is that a recommendation by us to to the selectmen?
It's, yeah, we recommend it to the selectmen or the town administrator,
Yeah.
and then they'll vote on it. Do you have that copy of that bylaw? I just want to read that to them.
I know, I think I might.
I have it right here, Bob.
Oh, you do? Right there. So I got it, Carol. In the bylaws, it says, "The membership of the ERC shall be made up as follows. 3 reps of the selectmen, 2 members from 3 nominees submitted by the Cape Cod Growers Association, 1 member from nominees submitted by the Carver Board of Health, and 1 member of the trucking industry nominated by the ERC."
Yeah, so we nominate them.
So we nominate them.
For recommendation.
Recommendation,
Yeah.
yes.
So, I'll,
What is our current, what do we have for openings other than that one?
That's it,
that's it.
That's it? And then we'd
Yeah.
have a full board again?
yes.
Yeah.
So, because I know that, I thought there was maybe a couple other ones that had gone on, but you guys are supposed to nominate a trucker.
There's 7
That's 5, and then now ones would
committee
be,
members. Oh, now one's.
now ones would be 6, and then.
Yeah.
some
Oh,
from
Jim.
trucking
Yeah, Jim.
He has to
industry.
put in if he wasn't gonna come back, so
Right.
he's still on here.
He hasn't.
I forgot about I knew, I felt like there was something out in the.
So, any discussion on the nomination of Alan Germain?
You're in favor of his addition to the committee, Chair?
Yeah, Alan's a very knowledgeable guy. He's exciting to watch, per se.
Could use some excitement.
adds a little life to the party, I guess you could say.
He'll add to your Facebook stuff, don't worry.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's gonna
Change
ever
anything.
stop. I don't think it'll change anything.
Plenty of people.
Sometimes they go, oh my God,
Yeah.
I just go,
But he is very knowledgeable, and that's why, and he's stepped up to take the spot of the hauler, and that's what he does for a living. So, as far as talking on the grounds of truck hauling and you know, truck routes and whatnot, he's, you know, we need that person. There's nobody else stepping up at the moment. So, and like I said, he's very invested in the town. So,
With that said, I'll second the motion that this committee recommend Alan
Did you
Germain
motion?
for,
no, I didn't.
You don't?
Nobody's
Nobody,
did it first yet.
nobody did.
I motioned it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Mason?
Oh, I thought you said seconded.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I meant to motion it.
You made a motion, sorry.
Yeah.
first, right?
You're making the
Yeah.
motion.
I'll make the motion, for this committee to suggest Alan Germain,
Nominate.
nominate
Nominate.
Alan Germain
Yep.
as a new member of the Carver Earth Removal
As the new
Committee.
hauler member, yeah.
Hauler member as
Yep.
truck driver.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 I'm sorry, who second?
Dick did.
Okay.
Yeah. All those
Sorry.
opposed?
He's on a roll tonight.
Apparently.
Too many meetings today.
The ayes have it. So now it's in the town administrator and the board of selectmen's hands. So, discussion of new business, next item on the agenda, discussion of new business for the Earth Removal Committee. So, as far as new business goes, there is on the table for a earth removal agent to exist. And what that earth removal agent would do would be doing inspections and fielding people's concerns about stuff. Kind of like what any other building agent or board of health agent. So the town has brought Kevin Forg name in front of us. His background is he's the board of health agent now, so they would just add that to his resume, I guess. And it would be a paid position. So this is just a discussion.
What would be the funding?
The funding would have to come out of the earth removal
But it would be,
account,
I mean,
correct?
originally when the select board, they emailed and they said that, you know, that was something that we should maybe think about, having Kevin Ford do it, and be paid Board of Health rate. But I would imagine the funding would come out of earth removal. But, so during the day, when other people really can't be doing it, be checking things during the day, like dust
He
control.
would be wearing another hat and but being paid for it.
I mean, obviously, you guys have no problem going out on the weekends and doing the inspections, but more or less during the day, checking to make sure certain things are getting done that we are having a lot of complaints about. But you would also have, I think that in the stipulation, you guys maybe would wanna make sure that he was fielding all the complaints as well.
Yeah.
We just have to, I guess.
Well, if it's a paid position, to me, he has to, just like he fields complaints as the board of health agent.
Are those part-time, or those just part-time positions?
I'm sorry?
Are those part-time positions?
No, the board of health, I think, is what?
I
Is
don't-
that full-time
I'm
or
not
is
sure.
that, I'm not sure.
This would be
This is part-
part-time.
this here would
is
be
just something they came
part-time.
up with so that, because
We're just
We
trying,
needed help.
this is just a discussion, so
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
just trying to figure things out.
Yeah, I was just wondering the same
guess
thing. I mean, if a full board of health position is full-time, how's he gonna squeeze this in unless they change the board of health position to a part-time as well as, and then the two would be a full-time position?
Like, how do you take
I
that?
don't
So
know
it-
if this
so
is
it-
full-time.
So,
I feel like it's not.
so again, this is just, we're just tossing this out on the table and tossing it
I don't know what kind of
around.
demands that their work requires if it dropped off.
I don't know if he has 40 hours.
I don't know, I don't know.
I
what
doubt he
kind-
does, because they would never offer it, because that would be need to get paid overtime. There's no way.
So I guess my only question is if a person were to be our, outside
Health
agent,
agent, yeah, I mean,
you know,
earth removal agent.
earth removal agent, he'd be our voice to the people. We just gotta figure out what that voice is gonna sound like. You know what I mean? He's gotta speak to the letter of the bylaw and
Yes.
everything.
Yeah.
under our direction.
So the good thing about Kevin Forg is that he speaks to the letter of the laws with the Board of Health.
Yeah,
And water.
I don't think he has, I don't think he has any problem doing this.
yeah.
And like I said, we don't know if if it's a full-time position that he has right now, and if he adds this on, because if it's overtime rate, then
And this might not, he might not even want, or you just want.
right, this is
it's on
just a
the table.
discussion, it's on the table,
Right.
it's for,
So the question is whether we are in favor of bringing
favor
on
of-
a earth removal committee agent to
Right.
help us with some of the logistics that us as volunteers
So-
and full-time jobs aren't able to address.
So would
such
it be
as
something you would
complaints.
direct them to go to? Hey, Kevin, we have a email for the complaint?
no, once he,
I think the
if,
select board would be like, so-and-so called, this
if
one
it is
happened.
Kevin that took that position, then it would be him, whether he got a complaint up at the clerk's office or the administrator's office, they would say you gotta go, or they would probably call right to his office, and he would have to address that. If he has, and he has in the past for us, for the water, over there at Van's job, you know?
So typically, would you expect both the complaints to go to him and both, so you know? I don't see that stuff, so I don't know how that all comes in, I guess.
They're all day, every day.
So they're all day, every day, Carol
I
Fields.
have a
So you
full-time
feel
job,
them
I
and-
can't do them like all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah,
Well, the majority of them are the same complaint over and over and
And
over
some of
again.
them are, it doesn't, you know what I mean, it's
Yeah.
like, somebody needs to go through them and decide if they are actual,
if they're
Real?
valid.
do you know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
could be not even a person, it could be a robot putting those in. Sometimes it's anonymous, they don't want names and numbers, I mean,
Right.
where do you draw the line? And that takes time to think
Well, if
about it,
it's-
oh my
yeah.
gosh, should I call Bob and take him from his job to ask him
Yeah,
about this
right.
today, or do I
Yeah.
wait till later? Should I just print this out and bring it next time, like, we need to have some kind of system in
She
place.
feels like a complaint that is from 18 different people, you know, and just.
I started making like track sheets.
We'll address one complaint, and then if somebody else comes in with the same complaint, so what people are trying to do is just inundate people with
Like
the same
tonight, from
complaint.
4 to 5, I had like 18 emails.
Today?
Yeah, that were supposed to go on the agenda tonight, I guess, I don't really know, but I was like, I just happened to see them, cause IT merged them with my regular email address, so I see them faster, but I'm like, it's like 4:45, and one of them was the pictures, and so the pictures came too, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
And it was, one person emailed Bob, and emailed us, and then emailed Bob at Fennessy, and then emailed, so I saw the same email like 6 times.
Oh, I see what you're
So
saying.
maybe like.
The town email, it's set up for the ERC.
So when you
yeah.
get, yeah, I see what you're saying.
So if Kevin can take the burden, if he does, this is a discussion, and his name was thrown out by the administrator's office.
Yeah, the administrator's office came up with it a while ago, but we just had so much other stuff going on that we
Is
didn't
it
really.
worth maybe
Well-
myself and you and Bob and him to sit down and talk about the,
Well, I think actually Bob and Kevin and whether it's the select board we may have to have a session,
Do
executive
you
session
have to
for
have
discussion.
a motion, Bob, that our committee supports the concept?
Is that what we're looking for
I-
here, or just?
I think this is just a
This is just
discussion right
discussion.
now, and I think we'll ask town council how to go forward, just so we do it the right way and not the wrong way.
I think even we have to probably check I know we can pay Carol out of the bylaw, so we could probably pay another employee, I guess.
Well, this I'm assuming it would have to be paid out of the.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the bylaw that would keep that from happening.
Yeah.
There's nothing in there.
Yeah.
I thought it was the infrastructure portion of it, no?
Yeah. So again, this is just
Now's
discussion.
a good time if people don't want it to.
Yeah.
It interests me, I just wanna know how it's gonna.
Well, we just want to know the nuts and bolts, and if anybody has any ideas or other ideas of how it should work, please feel free to make a suggestion, you know what I mean?
Well, I
Again,
think it's-
excuse me.
It's certainly gonna be, is a necessity now.
What it was is, when
And
we,
it's gonna be more so.
they came up with this, that when we had that executive session, and they said, how can we help? That one time the select board wanted to help us, and they said, how can we help, how can we help, where do you need the help? So, but I think you as a
Well,
board,
that's,
we'll
I
have
don't
to
think
just,
we've. So I think maybe we'll set up a meeting and we'll go from there. But I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of it.
Yeah.
So that's all. So we'll do that. We'll set up a meeting. You can, talk to the town administrator and see how they wanna go forward with this.
Yeah, if we want, okay. Or if we do
Okay.
town
Yeah,
council, or how.
go forward for discussion.
Yeah,
Perfect.
okay.
That's actually perfect.
All right, review of the earth removal account, next item on the agenda.
I really would like to sit down with him and try to figure something.
I also think we need to sit down with, is Shelby the one who does all this? I think we need to sit down with Shelby.
Say this
As,
next meeting.
as a committee, though, but I think
Yeah.
we need to sit down
I-
with Shelby as a committee
I
and
report
say,
back to her and tell her all this.
I've talked to her.
She doesn't give it to us.
I've talked to her and I,
She
We want
says
totals, we want totals.
I know, it just doesn't happen that way. She says this is, because the whole town uses this micros, whatever they call this.
Mhm.
LifeWorks, I forget what they call it, but it's called something.
They
The
have to know
software?
how much money's in the account. There's no way.
Well, we
you know.
always did.
I mean, come on.
But that's
statement,
because your old
anything.
recording secretary took it upon herself and did it on her Apple Mac.
oh,
And translated it to her Excel spreadsheet. So that was her own, like, you can go home tonight and do your checking account that way, but that's not how the town of Carver does it. So
Okay.
that's why it looks like this.
so she did it all, that was all her home
That-
program.
Yes, that's why it took so long to try to switch this over from last January, a year ago January,
And
when
we-
Darcy, whatever her name was, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
She was using her own, because there never was a
guess-
town laptop, it never was anything.
I
so-
guess it would be good to see, like, I think I might go up there and just sit with her for a little bit and just have her show me what she sees and
Yes.
can see,
Mhm.
and say, we would like that printed, and that printed maybe.
And I explained to her, all they want to see is the totals. Credits, and they can't tell,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, and maybe.
so these are just the credits that
Credits and
she,
debits.
well,
One
she
page
says,
is credits,
one-
one page is debits, right? That's all there is.
Put your child in front of that mess.
It's just
I'll
a,
be yelling at you.
I know. It's something we've been trying to get straightened
I know,
out,
I've heard
and
this
it's,
a couple times, I know, I can hear what you're saying, that's like me trying to make a
This is
pizza.
operating
I know.
supplies,
Do you know what I
earth
mean?
removal
Technology
fees.
can be good, but then when you go into like an iPhone, don't even ask me.
Oh, I know.
why is this on a separate
Two
sheet?
different account numbers,
Why is this on a separate thing? Cause
Which
you,
one?
the payroll's a different account maybe it gets
three
moved.
different contract hire.
it says payroll
because
warrant.
sometimes she used to not give one of these, but she likes to show that there's actually nothing on one of them.
So my other question then is, how come there's, who makes this up, this sheet?
Shelby.
Okay, so how come there's like no total on this sheet then, at
Well,
least?
or what was the other question we had too, like. that
There
we
used to be,
When you say total, what do you mean?
Like a quarterly total to
I
date.
mean, the ERC, account is a separate account, correct?
Yeah, it's a,
It's an infrastructure account, right?
yeah, but there's a, God,
What?
I'm trying to think of the name of the account they put that, it's just like the same account that the water department's in. Cause it doesn't have to, like, at the end of the year, it stays in that account, it doesn't go back into
To the
the,
general fund.
into the general fund.
Right,
there's a
because it's
name
supposed to
for
be
that.
used for, oh, I
I'm
know what
drawing
you're
a blank
saying,
right now,
yeah.
it's a, God. Dick, help me, what are those accounts called?
Is this closed?
Talking about
Not like an
83-year-old guy.
I know.
This
Is it Enterprise?
I'm gonna
account?
call, I have to
No.
call him.
Enterprise?
I believe one side is, this one wasn't, there was two.
Just gonna write a note to
That
her.
was
There was an
following
old
you,
one
Bill,
there.
The
Is there
accounts
another
that they
one
put
again?
those in, that they have to put a movement, have them in those certain accounts, so they don't end up back in the general fund, like the water department, this one, I think it's an
Yeah.
enterprise account.
Look, I make up the name all the time. think
I
it's
can't
Carver,
remember
that's Matthew.
exactly, but
All I can
I
think
remember
of
when they
is-
established the one
Different
for,
accounts.
they established one for, the water department there.
So this has come up right now to being done, right here,
Which one?
Franklin. They have
I think he's
to-
only got room there.
I know, but it's April 20th, and that's it. Okay, so there's that. So anyway, yeah, so we're gonna have to have a sit down with Shelby. and just ask her. I mean, there has to
Would
be.
that be kind of intimidating for her? I mean, would.
No,
better
No,
for
she's,
the-
she's not,
No.
she's fine.
Okay,
No.
all right.
I have a question,
Yes,
on this, see the red highlighted under Franklin,
yes,
approved was 410,
yes.
and remaining, never mind.
So,
I answered my own question.
no, I agree, because we had the same question a while ago, and what it was is that project was 2 phases.
Mhm.
One phase was Plymouth, so they put yardage from Plymouth, you know what I mean? He didn't, and then he did
Got
go to.
merged together, but they really weren't, they
No,
were
but
separate.
didn't he go up there and
Yes.
take, so,
We also wrote a letter, didn't we?
yeah, he also went up there and straightened it out with all that clerical. It just doesn't show it here. We have
And then-
nothing to do with the Plymouth side, but it was all,
And then the same thing with number 3, Makepeace, because it's done in phases.
yeah, number
That's
3,
why
make
they-
peace is done in
sometimes the numbers
phases.
look-
Remember, so that blended in, they started their second phase, and then when the checks were coming in, they just kept adding it to that, and they said it was over. We called Reed Custom Soils or Makepeace and told them, oh, we're in phase 2, so now, when they send theirs in, it tells you what phase it's on. It's just that she hasn't made that correction yet.
But we are aware of it.
And this is why the earth removal.
It almost would be nice for
program
those
is
phase
difficult.
projects to have.
Yes.
It should say phase,
It's
phase
not
2.
cut and dry.
Yep,
It should
it's
say
very
phase
difficult.
total for phase 1, phase 2, phase
Right,
3.
which we do, it's on the plan, and it's
And
on the
then-
permit, I believe.
And
So,
then the total wouldn't be
Right.
bothered, because it's kind of progressing forward.
right. But she hasn't addressed these yet either, so maybe she's answering complaints. Just cracking a joke there, but.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't know if it was that.
I don't know what's funny anymore.
I was thinking that, but
Did you laugh?
I don't wanna get in
Oh.
trouble at anything, I just like to come and do my thing, be a person of my town, that's all.
Okay. Any other discussion on the account? Michael? Dick?
Oh,
John?
I'm good.
Bill?
Nope.
Okay. All right.
What are we looking at for next month?
What are we thinking on the next month, guys, for,
April.
Do
today's
we have to approve the
29th?
financials or anything?
No.
No,
No.
we don't have to.
Last Wednesday in the month, is that what you're talking about, a meeting?
The 26th?
Last Wednesday of the month is the 26th,
Okay.
7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
All those in favor?
Who second?
Dick.
Dick, he's on a roll.
I know,
All
no
those,
one else
all
wants to?
those
I did,
opposed?
I did,
Someone second me, we're happy.
I second.
The ayes have it.
I second.
Billy, you second, right?
I made the motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Okay,
Are you,
thank you.
Are you going in?